went from publicly saying I would never purchase this bag to now where she's here with me today. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Celesta. We talk about all things luxury shopping and handbags. If you love those things, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification. I do post videos twice a week. So I think it's time to address the elephant in the room. This is the Goyard St. Louis in the PM size. I'm currently borrowing it for the month with Neverfull because I'm actually going to London and I was planning on getting this bag on that trip. And I had an opportunity to get it in Japan. Thought about it, was like, no, I think it's not that much savings. I'm just gonna wait to buy it brand new. And I wasn't entirely sold on whether I should get it or not because I did sell my Neverfull not that long ago. And it feels a little bit ridiculous to sell one bag just to buy this one, especially after saying online publicly that I would never buy this bag. So I want to chat through kind of like pricing, details, things like that about this one, and then I will compare her to the mini Anjou that I already have and whether or not I think I should get both, keep one over the other, general thoughts. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is the PM size. It's not like Louis Vuitton Neverfulls where there's 3 sizes. There's only 2 sizes for the St. Louis. I am currently borrowing it for the month at Neverfull, so you can use the code right here if you guys want to get a free month trial. But I feel like this was a really good opportunity for me to really try out the bag and see if I like it or not and see if it's really worth purchasing because I typically go for smaller bags. I don't really need like a bag of this size all that much, which is why I inevitably sold my Neverfull. This does retail for around 1700 USD. I know like Goyard pricing isn't really like public online, but it's around 1700 USD. In Europe, I think it's 1400 euros just around. And then in London, it's 1200 pounds, which ends up being around 1700. Of course, with London, you don't get the VAT refund, but I also went back and forth on whether I should like take the train to Paris, buy it in Paris, and then come back with the VAT refund, but then the train to Paris is more expensive. So long story long, it just made the most sense if I am planning on getting this to get it in London, but I could also just get it here because the savings really isn't that significant. My biggest concern with getting this bag and really why I wanted to try it out is because of the strap drop. This has an 18 centimeter strap drop. The mini Anjou has a 17 cm strap drop, and the Neverfull, which I ended up selling, has a 20.5 cm strap drop. So less than 1 inch strap drop difference. So between the St. Louis and the Neverfull, it's really like not that big of a strap drop difference. And the reason I focus so much on the strap drop is because if it's not comfortable to wear, if it doesn't stay over your shoulder, it unfortunately is a deal breaker for me. So I wanted to walk you guys through like trying this on, comparing it to the mini Anjou, what fits, and then of course the pros and cons. Okay, here is how they both look on me. Keep in mind I am 4'11", so the St. Louis tote is a pretty big bag, even though it is the PM size compared to the mini Anjou. Like this is definitely more of an everyday bag. Really the biggest differences in terms of what fits is the laptop, and I am trading my AirPod Maxes for a water bottle. And then of course, I feel like the St. Louis is just such a big like everyday run around tote. I will be putting in a return that I'd be doing at the mall compared to this. The mini Anjou will not fit the hoodie to return. Okay, we're just gonna jump around a little bit with the pros and cons just because I think these are kind of 2 different use cases in terms of bags. I view the mini Anjou as something that I use for like every day. This is like my quick grab and go bag. It does fit a water bottle in here, and it really is just like a couple little things. Versus this one, I kind of view this as my like schlep around bag. It fits everything under the sun. If I'm going to the mall, if I'm doing a return, if I am, you know, going to get groceries, all of this stuff, like that's kind of this bag for me, versus this one, it really doesn't fit much other than my essentials and like my camera. A pro for both of these, I actually really like that both of these bags don't have a lot of structure. I do have stuff in here right now, but in general, I really like that both of these bags don't have a lot of structure. I think the one thing I didn't really love about my Neverfull, and it didn't come to me until after I've had it for a while, is that the bag has a lot of structure Also, I had an organizer inside to keep the interior clean. Because it was such a big bag and it had so much structure, I feel like it just stuck out of my body a lot. It didn't look very proportional to me, and it also just wasn't the most functional to use because of how much it like stuck out of my body. Versus for this one, I actually really like that it is just so like floppy that it molds to your body. If there's not much in here, like this only has like my sweater and a couple things in here, it really kind of molds to your body and what's inside the bag. However, I will say that even though this will fit a laptop, I'm not convinced that this will make for a good laptop bag. I think the Artois would probably be a better laptop bag because it has a zipper closure and it has leather reinforced in the corners, versus this is really just a canvas tote. She's very flimsy. I think you can carry a laptop, iPad, like heavier things in there once in a while, but I don't think it's gonna be great long term for the bag, and also long term for your shoulder because it will start to dig into your shoulder. Another con, which is technically not a con, but it's a con as of right now, is that green, surprisingly, not really my color. I don't typically go for green. I wouldn't buy this in green. This was just what was available from Vivrel, which is why I took it, because I cared more about making sure that the bag fit into my lifestyle and it was comfortable to wear over the color. The green's not bad. I could totally see certain people rocking the green. I'm very much a beige, neutral, boring girly, and so I'd probably get this in black. Maybe the blue. I do kind of like that brighter blue color, but I don't know if I'm getting just influenced because it's summertime and it feels like a summer color. Long term, realistically, I think the black one is probably the one I'd end up getting. But of course, we've all seen the reviews where multiple people have said that their Goyard has melted, like the color has melted onto their shirt. It seems to be more of the other colors. Like I haven't really seen it talked about for black. I have for sure seen it talked about blue and maybe green, but so I don't know if that's dependent on the color. And while that should still be a very big deciding factor, maybe I'm too trusting. Maybe I am just like, oh, we'll deal with it when it happens kind of thing. I really do believe that Goyard will stand behind the quality of their products and make it right. So I really don't have too many concerns about the color transfer if it does happen. I also feel like all the people that it did happen to live in very hot and humid climates, versus of course here in California, it's not that hot and it's also a very dry heat. So maybe I'm a hopeful optimist, maybe I'm delusional, but I do think that should that be an issue, we can kind of cross that bridge when it gets there. Moving over to another pro for this bag, it is very, very lightweight. Both of the bags, the Anjou and this one, are both really, really lightweight. But of course, it doesn't come with a lot of security. The new versions of this bag now comes with like a magnetic chip clip, essentially. So you can kind of clip it to the top of the bag. This one didn't come with it, but you get that a little bit extra security in there. But for the most part, really lightweight bag, no closure, no security. And really the biggest differences between the St. Louis and the Anjou is that this is a cotton lining versus the Anjou is a leather lined. So in theory with the Anjou, you could reverse the bag if you would like. My biggest con / concern for this bag is the strap drop. Even though it's only less than 1 inch difference from the Neverfull, I have been using this around and I feel like right now, t-shirt, she's totally fine, no issues. She fits perfectly over the shoulder. However, when I was wearing a pretty thin sweater, I was wearing a Saison cardigan and I felt like it just wasn't staying over my shoulder as I was walking around, and it was a little bit of a fuss. So that really is the only deal breaker. I am glad that I was able to try this out to like make sure for myself without, you know, of course, when you're in the store for a couple minutes, of course you're able to get it to fit over your shoulder. But if you're really walking around, you know, hours out at a time, it really makes a big difference whether it stays over your shoulder or not. Now for the biggest question, should you get the St. Louis / should you get it if you already have the Anjou? And it's hard to say because I'm honestly not sold. I think the biggest con of this bag being that it doesn't stay super well over your shoulder. And I can imagine if I'm wearing a thicker coat, if it doesn't stay over my shoulder, I don't know that I would use this all too much. This one is really, I've kind of accepted the fact that the Mini Anjou is my summer bag because of the strap drop, and I don't know why. I feel like this mini tote is generally just a little bit more summery. So I really don't reach for this in the winter and in the colder months, but I do love using this during the summer. I also feel like the only reason I justify getting this is because I feel like I'm missing a very casual schlep around kind of tote. I think I kind of forgot like how handy it is to have a tote like this. I went to Costco to exchange something and I was able to throw it in this bag. I went to the mall to return something. I was able to throw it in the bag. I picked up like little things, and of course in California you have to like pay for a plastic bag. So I just threw it in here, and it was actually really nice to have everything in one place. I really don't have any like non-structured totes like this other than the Longchamp, which I pretty much exclusively use for weddings. So like all of my wedding stuff is in there. So unless I want to empty that out just for like a quick errand, I do feel like I could see a use case for this, especially if I decide to sell or part ways with my Dior book tote, which is a whole different story at the moment. So all this to say, I'm not entirely convinced. I think if I go see it in stores in London and they have it in the size and the color that I want, I'd probably get it. But if they also didn't have it, I wouldn't go to the end of the earth to try to find it, if that makes sense. Let me know if you guys have one or both of these, and let me know what you guys think. And I hope this comparison video was helpful for you guys, so you're able to really decide and see if it fits into your lifestyle, because I really don't carry around all too much, but it is nice to be able to throw everything into one bag, especially if you're just out and about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you. I'll leave another video for you guys here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!